Hello and welcome to another conversation with one of our amazing Women Thrive speakers. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Sheba Wilson. Hi Sheba, how are you?
Hi, Ramonda. I am well, thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be with you this morning.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited about today's conversation. And if you're tuning in live or watching this on replay, today we are talking about how to create career visibility and soar to the top. And of course, our amazing guest, she is a speaker at the Women Thrive Summit, but also Sheba Wilson is an inspirational speaker, executive leadership coach, and best-selling author of the book Get Up and Lead. She helps supervisors and mid-level managers to rise to senior leadership positions through leadership training and coaching. So today we're talking about how to create more visibility in your career and really soar to the top. So Shiva, welcome to today's live. I'm excited about this conversation.
Thank you, Ramonda. I am also equally excited about the conversation. I am ready to add value to your audience and help those mid-level managers and supervisors gain the knowledge that they need to map out their plans and get started on their journeys to executive level roles in their organizations or even career transitions.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about what it is that you do today and what has been your journey in getting to where you are today.
Well, I like to refer to myself as the resilience queen because I find that throughout my life, I have had to flex my resilience muscles, right? And so I came from very humble beginnings, a single parent home, and the oldest of four siblings in my household. And then, I had experienced widowhood about 8 years ago. And that was like a defining moment in my life because it made me realize just how lazy I had gotten, right? I got comfortable because when you have the support of a spouse and you're not really required to do much in terms of your personal growth, I became comfortable. And it wasn't until I lost my husband that I was able to really spend time in self reflection and be introspective and really determine what it is that I wanted for my life. And so while I had experienced a level of career success prior to losing my husband, I didn't really get serious about where I wanted to be until after his passing. And so over the last 7 years, I have learned quite a lot, not just about myself, but also about how people can navigate the workspace, gain the clarity that they need, and also map out their own individual plans for how they want to get to where it is they desire to be. And so I've spent the last few years really helping other women in particular. I work with men also, but most of my clients are female, maybe because my story resonates with them in some way. And so they're kind of drawn to me for that. And I'm grateful because I get to use my own life experiences to help women see that it doesn't really matter what circumstances you're faced with if you possess the mindset that you can grow through those challenges, then you will be able to overcome them and also to live the life that you absolutely love and enjoy. And I'm happy to be the guide on the side for so many women in accomplishing their goals and really getting them to their picture of success.
Yeah, and I love that you said that their sort of definition of success, because as you said, you're doing just fine, having family and sort of being settled in your role, and perhaps not, I don't know, not having that at the forefront to grow any further. So it's really a level of ambition.
Mhm.
So, how were you able to change your career once you said, okay, I need to shuffle some things around and I need to get to that next level? What happened then? And then after that, I really want to get into the practical things that perhaps people need to know in terms of career advancement. But first, I just want to know, where did you get to, and how, what was your experience like getting to that next phase after you made that decision?
So I think my journey kind of started during the illness. So my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. And in January 2014, I went on a fast, a 40-day fast. And this was before the diagnosis. And, it was really for spiritual reasons. I was trying to connect with God more. And I didn't realize at the time, but I was actually being prepared for what was about to happen. And so I decided in that moment in 2014 that I did want more for my life, but I wasn't quite sure how I was going to get there. So over the years, one of the things that I've practiced is starting my year with a fast because it helps me to gain the mental clarity that I need in order to properly plan out my year. So a lot of reflection, looking back at the prior year, what I accomplished, what I didn't accomplish. Should I continue on the same path? Should I shift focus? So asking myself those questions, coaching myself to gain the clarity that I need. And so that is something that I practice, and I also encourage my clients to do the same thing on an annual basis. So starting off your year with that level of clarity, that mental clarity, right? Because if you don't know what you want, what are you really working towards, right? You may be working towards someone else's picture of success. And success for each of us is going to look different. It's an individual thing. So gaining mental clarity, it doesn't necessarily have to be a fast for you. It could simply be you carving out a set amount of time on a daily basis for introspection. So if you're a morning person, I recommend that you do that early in the morning. If you're an evening person, a night owl, then do it before you go to bed at night. But find that time, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes a day, where you're able to look back over your day, see what worked well, what didn't, what do you need to continue working on? What do you need to let go of? Asking yourself those questions, because the answers really lie within us. It's just that we don't sometimes take the time to have those conversations with ourselves and to really get clear about what's going on and what do we actually want for ourselves. So that's the first step. Journaling has also been a big part of my journey. I'm a writer. I like to write. And so maybe it sort of comes natural to me, but I find that the more that I journal, the clearer my thoughts become, right? Because I consider it like writing love letters to yourself. So that's something that I also encourage persons to do. And for me, what I love about journaling is you can go back years later and look at your journals. You can see what you prayed for, what goals you set, what you accomplished. And sometimes we're so busy in life that we don't take the time to assess, right? And so we may go year after year and not really pay attention to how much we actually have accomplished. It's so easy to get caught up in the negative and what we didn't do and what we haven't accomplished. But looking back also helps us to recognize how much we did accomplish and how much we do have to celebrate. So that's also something that I encourage. Then the next thing is for persons who are looking to either transition in their careers or they have a goal in mind in terms of, I want to be promoted to this particular position, you need to be able to articulate clearly what it is that you desire. So mapping out your career path. What does that look like for you? And then having the conversation with your senior leader or your mentor or sponsor in the organization so that you can then say to them, this is what I desire. And there can be a conversation surrounding, okay, this is what you need to work on. These are the steps that you need to take in order to get there. And this is how I can support you in getting there. And sometimes that step is missing. So we may want a particular role, we may be working towards it, but we've not had a conversation surrounding our desire to actually get into that role. And so that's a very, very important step. And I always encourage people to have those conversations early on so that they know what they should be working towards. So that is equally important. And then next, I would say, self-awareness, because sometimes we're not aware of how we show up. We aren't, right? And so that not only requires you having reflection, but it also requires you getting feedback. So things like 360s and having your peers review you and give you feedback about how you show up in the workspace, having your superiors also do the same thing, and being open to receiving that feedback, because we have to get to a space where we don't take everything as a personal attack, but really we see it as information being power. So now that I know this, now that I know that I'm showing up in this particular way, what do I do with this information? How do I change the narrative? How do I show up in a way that is synonymous with what I see as my picture of success, that propels me to the role that I desire to be in? And so that is why feedback is a gift, right? And we have to view it as that and use that information to make us better. Because if you're not growing, you're actually dying, right? And so we have to have that mindset that everything we learn about ourselves, all of the information that becomes available to us, we can use it to become better, to grow, and to be able to accomplish the things that we desire for ourselves.
Yeah. I really do feel like, just being intentional, as you say, about your goals. And as we heading into a new year, just being intentional about what you want and how do you want to show up. Because I do believe that opportunities present themselves at the moment where you're actually show up as the person ready for that opportunity as well. And whether you're pursuing leadership positions, whether you're pursuing clients or new contracts, you almost have to be perfectly positioned for that opportunity to happen at that divine time. And do you feel like that has been your experience as well?
Absolutely. I can't remember who said it, but it's there's a formula for luck, and there's no such thing as luck, but it's actually preparation and opportunity meeting. So you prepare, and then the opportunities present itself. So the time to prepare for opportunities is long before they present themselves. So you don't want an opportunity to become available and then you're not prepared for it. So that mental clarity, knowing what you really want, knowing how you need to show up and what you need to do to get there, and then taking those intentional steps to position you for those opportunities, that's absolutely important. And I like acronyms, right? And so I talk about this in my book. ACT, action changes things. That's what makes a difference in your life when you take action. And action has to be strategic. It needs to be intentional. So you're not going about life haphazardly and just allowing anything to happen. You have to be intentional about the action that you take in order to be able to achieve the things that you desire.
Yeah, I love that. So you authored and published a book called Girl, Get Up and Lead. Tell me, what is this book about? What was the inspiration behind the book?
Well, the book is about what I did is I kind of commingled my personal story with a lot of the things that I've learned from a professional standpoint and as a coach. So, as a coach, I have really infused a lot of self coaching techniques into the book and self coaching questions into the book because really the inspiration for the book was to be able to equip, inspire, and empower women. And so you can't do that without actually adding real value and giving people the tools that they need in order to navigate life. So I share about widowhood, about my experience with losing my husband. I share about my battle with weight. I struggle with weight since I was 10 years old, and all of the intentional steps that I have to consistently take to make sure that I'm taking care of my health. So all of these things, these life experiences, they basically are not unique to me, right? There are women throughout the globe who struggle with similar things. And so I believe that nothing that we experience in life is meant just for us. I believe that we're allowed to whoever you believe in, whether it's God or Buddha, whatever your religious belief is, I think we all subscribe to a higher power. And so I believe that that higher power, allows us to go through certain challenges in life and overcome them so that we're positioned not only to say, hey, I did that, but also to share that with someone else and to not just share your story, but to also say, hey, here is how I did it. And so that's what the book is about. The book is about how do you face challenges and overcome them. So how are you going to be equipped to live every day above defeat? So that's my acronym for LEAD, live every day above defeat, because No matter who you are going to face challenges in life. And some are going to be greater than others, but we can overcome them all. It depends on our mindset surrounding those experiences and whether or not we, position ourselves to be able to grow through the challenges. Another acronym that I share in my book is GRIT. I believe that grit is growth, resilience, intentionality, and tenacity, right? And so when you put all of that together, that is really your recipe for being able to navigate life successfully. And grace is also important. Giving yourself grace and accepting grace from God and also from others, right? Sometimes we are most critical of ourselves. We're most unforgiving of ourselves, and sometimes that hinders us and hold us back. So extend grace to yourself. If you didn't get it done today, give yourself grace and know that tomorrow is another day, and you're just going to not stay in the rut. But hey, I'm going to dust myself off, and tomorrow I'm going to continue each day taking those intentional steps, making that effort to make sure that I get it done.
Wow, I love that. And, it sounds like a real handbook for women that really want to get out of their own way, perhaps, and grow through in life. And this is like a recipe for success that you have written, like a handbook, a recipe for success that has these amazing gems. And I just want to write all of these acronyms in the in the chat. But the best thing to do if you feel inspired by this conversation, I'd say go and get the book. Sheba Wilson, and her book is called Girl, Get Up and Lead.
Well, the book
Um,
is called Get Up and Lead. Get Up and Lead.
Get Up and Lead. My
Yes.
apologies. I am actually jumping ahead now and talking about your title for the Women Thrive Summit. So my apologies. And I see some beautiful comments. Thank you so, so much for just beautiful comments in the chat. And if you have any questions for Shiva today, please let us know. So I have a question coming in, but before we answer this question, I just want to say, Shiva, we're so excited because this year we have you featured as one of our VIP speakers for the Women Thrive Summit. And I'm just excited because I think what you have to share, the power of your message is going to be so empowering for women. So your talk is called Girl, Get Up and Lead. And can you tell us a little bit more? Why should women be interested in attending this talk and who this is for?
Ramona, I'll go back to something I said earlier. All of us, every one of us, we're facing something right now in this moment. We're facing some type of difficulty, struggle. For someone, it may be a diagnosis. For someone else, it may be a loss of a spouse. It may be loss of another loved one. It may be loss of a job. And so each of us, we're on some journey and facing something. And so my talk is simply going to be about how you can navigate that successfully. You don't have to have a mindset of defeat. Have a victor's mindset that despite whatever it is that I'm faced with, I have everything that I need inside of me to navigate this successfully. And so I'm going to be dropping some gems and sharing some techniques with you that have worked in my life personally that you can use to be able to lead, to be equipped and empowered to lead your life successfully. And so that's what the talk is about. It's like, girl, you're struggling with weight, but get up. Girl, you lost that job, but get up. That business failed, get up. Right? We're not meant to stay down. We're going to face some things. We're going to go through some trials, but we're not meant to stay down. We're to use the bricks that are thrown at us to build back stronger, right? Flexing those resilience muscles. That's what it's about. So growing through those challenges and knowing that I may be down right now, but I'm not staying down. And when I bounce back, watch our world because I'm coming back with power. And so that's what my talk is going to be all about.
Amazing, amazing. So for those of you who are watching this live, please go ahead to womenthrivesummit.com, register your spot for this amazing event. This is our one of the biggest actually annual women empowerment event that's happening virtually. So that means anywhere in the world that you are right now, you can save your spot, register, attend Sheba's talk, as well as join We have 47 amazing speakers from all around the world, women talking about leadership, visibility, marketing, growing your businesses, creating success, whether it's in your personal life, career, or your business, and really developing that mindset of resilience, the mindset of success, resilience, and just being that woman, because we're all capable of being that woman that we aspire to be. And it's just in the doing. I think the magic, as we spoke earlier, the magic is in the doing, in taking the action and putting yourself forward. So I have a beautiful question that's come in from Cookie. So Cookie's saying, I have been a nurse for 25 years. She's 59 years old. And 8 months ago, she started her own nursing business. And she's getting a lot of negative feedback about her age and starting a business. What would be your thoughts? What would be a tip that you would give to Cookie today?
Well, I always say you're not gonna be doing anything in life and not have criticism, right? It almost comes with the territory. So there are always gonna be critics. But what I practice is even in the moments where people try to discourage me, I go back to my why. Why did I decide to do this? Right? Because that's what's going to keep you focused, keep you grounded, and keep you really pushing forward with that tenacity, right? So go back to your why. Why did you decide to start your own business? Whatever that why is, that is the fuel that's going to drive you to continue on. And I'll say this also, assess your circle, because who you're surrounded by matters. And sometimes the persons closest to us can be the most critical and the most negative. And those voices constantly in your head discouraging you, it can be the thing that causes you to give up. So assess your circle. And some people you have to just love from a distance. It may be family, right? But if you know that God has placed that within you, or you feel deep within your soul that this is the thing that I'm called to do, this is what I'm meant to be doing. Don't allow the negativity and the I call them this, the pull me down Peters and the negative Nancy's, to get into your head and cause you to lose sight and to lose focus of what it is that you know that you're meant to be doing. So assess your circle. And if you know that you're called to do that, push forward, right? Because you're going to experience setbacks and failures. That is absolutely normal, but it's the why that's going to keep you going even in those moments of doubt.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. And, in our community, in our circle, in our speakers network, we have women at different stages of their careers. I met women who starting a business in the early 20s, and they told, they're too early. I started my first business when I was really young, and I've been told I was too young, too naive, too inexperienced. And then I meet women like, some of the ladies in our speaker circle. One that
Mhm.
comes to mind was Coilette, and we've had
Yes.
a amazing podcast interview with her recently. And she's I believe she's mid 60s, all right, and only in her 60s she completed her
Mhm.
degree, her master's, her doctorate, pursuing amazing projects, writing books, starting new things. And she says to me, I feel like I'm in the best season of my life.
Yeah.
I think we die when we stop pursuing our goals and dreams. We give up on ourselves just because the world says you're at a certain part of your life that you should be now stop dreaming, or
Mhm.
stop living, or stop pursuing. That's not true. You can pursue
Yeah.
your goals and dreams and purpose and passions at any stage of your life. Even if you're 90 and you're still considering starting a new business,
Mhm.
do it. As Sheba
Yes.
says, girl, get up and
Just
leave.
get up and lead. Yes. I absolutely agree, Ramonda. And I think society has kind of put us in these boxes and told us that we have to do certain things by certain stages of our lives. And that's absolutely not true. And so that's why it's so important for us to get clear about our own picture of success, right? Because if we're not careful, we'll be pursuing what everyone else says should happen. And then we're left unfulfilled and we're not happy and we're not enjoying this one life that we have. And so it's important for us to get clear about what we want and not pay attention so much to who says what, but stay focused on your goals and what it is that you're working towards. And if that means at 75, you're just starting out, then you go, girl. At 75, you push forward and you get it done.
Yeah, amazing. Well, there's so much to talk about. I wish we had more time. I want to ask you so many more questions. But of course, if you feel inspired by today's conversation, do make sure you join the Women Thrive Summit happening in March. And recently, you've also written an article on career sponsorship in the Women Thrive magazine. Just a quick snippet of what this article was about and why do we need actually sponsorship us in our careers.
I think most times one of the things that's lacking for persons, particularly for persons who have been in roles for a long time and they're kind of stuck, the missing link sometimes is actually sponsorship. So they haven't really found sponsors within their organization. So you work hard, right? And you think that automatically hard work is going to result in a promotion. But the reality is that hard work alone is not going to get you to a promotion. So I believe that building great relationships and allowing people to see who you are, what you're capable of by taking on projects and really getting them to see, hey, this person is great at doing X, Y, and Z. So when those conversations are being had in the boardroom around the leadership table, and they say, well, we have this high stakes project that we need to start. Who can spearhead this? Your sponsor is going to call your name in that room because they've seen your work. They know what you're capable of. I'll just use my personal story as an example, right? When I wanted to transition to HR, I didn't have any HR experience. I'm a journalist by profession, and I had no HR experience. But I saw an opportunity and I felt like it was something that I wanted as a career. And so I took on a project. I volunteered for a project, a very difficult project. It was related to work permits for expatriate workers. And so at that time, my organization, we had a lot of mess with work permits not being in the right categories and all of that stuff. And I had previously worked in the Ministry of Labor. And so I knew what needed to be done and I had the right connections to get it done. And so I raised my hand and I volunteered for that project. But not only did I volunteer for the project, I had a conversation with my general manager about the fact that I was getting a master's certification through Cornell University for HR management, and I wanted to transition into HR. So I had that conversation while simultaneously taking on that project and studying. I was also pregnant with my son at the time. But I took that on. And as a result of that, I was able to transition into HR. And I've had basically an average of 2 promotions per year leading up to 2018. And so that's how I got to this point. So that journey started in 2013. And today I am at the highest level in my HR career. And so it all starts with you creating that visibility, taking on those projects, building those relationships, having sponsors give you projects so that they can say, I can vouch for her because she can get that done and call your name in those spaces that you're not yet privy to.
Wow. I love that. It's so beautiful because your work speaks for itself and where you put yourself out intentionally and the conversations you have and the relationships you build really starts to pay forward for you, your career advancement. And I always say if you surround yourself with the right people and you do the right work, you won't even know what rooms your name is spoken of, right? It's like you haven't even stepped into the rooms where your name is spoken. And because you made those relationships and you made that impact. So it really is about that impact you're creating as you go.
And Ramonda, can I just share one more thing?
Yeah.
I just want to share this, right? Because this is really important. When you get there, pay it forward. Pay it forward. So when I joined the senior leadership team, I was the only Turks and Caicos Islander, one of three females around the table. And we had probably at that time about 27 to 30% females in leadership. Today we have 50% females in leadership. And we also now have so many locals that sit at the senior leadership table. And one of them was recently promoted to a general manager. And I look back and I remember the conversation that I had with myself when I joined the team, that I will not be the only. So I just want to encourage us to pay it forward. So when you get there, it's not just about you. You've navigated that space and you've gotten to that point successfully. It's now time for you to help others along and to get them there as well.
Yeah. And that's what makes a great leader, having that heart to pay forward and help others become great leaders. So it's not just you right there at the top. Thank you so much, Sheba. This was beautiful conversation. I am so excited about having you on the summit and hearing your full talk. But just thank you for your contribution, for the work that you're doing, inspiring leadership and making a lot of impact all around the world. It's just so amazing to have you part of this journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the audience listening, and also the question that was asked. And I'm looking forward to having all of you join us at Women Thrive Summit 2023. I'm so excited about it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, for all of you watching this today, thank you so much. If you feel inspired by this conversation, please feel free to share this video with somebody else. And do make sure you spread a word about Women Thrive Summit coming up. And if you wanted to connect with Sheba, where can women connect with you directly?
So I'm on social media platforms, Facebook, Sheba Wilson, on Instagram, Sheba L. Wilson, on LinkedIn, Sheba Wilson. Those are the platforms that I use most. I'm also on TikTok, getting into TikTok. So you can find me there as well, but also my website, ShebaWilson.com. So on my website, you can connect with me. There's a contact button there. All of my resources and services are also on that platform.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much to all of you listening. Thank you so much for your time today. And we look forward to seeing you on another conversation with one of our speakers. Take care for now.